Folks, it's me, Denny Carter from NBC Sports / Rotoworld / whatever you want to call it. I'm back for the Week 8 Fantasy Football Q&A, burping a little bit because I just had a seltzer, lime seltzer, and boy, I chugged it. And now I have coffee. And that's a good combination. You got your seltzer, you got your coffee. Basically, I'm going to be bursting in about 30 minutes. So excuse me if I suddenly become despondent. All right, folks, I'm going to get to your questions in just a minute. I just wanted to remind folks to check out all of the great hashtag content on Rotoworld. We have Pat Doherty's ranks. We have Matthew Berry's ranks, his love-hate piece for this week. We have my regression files. If you are, if that's what you're into, folks regressing to the bad, to the good, whatever it may be, things of that nature. We have Kyle Dvorak's 32 stats. We have Zach Kruger's various pieces on expected fantasy points and snap counts. We have Lawrence Jackson's flex piece where he breaks down possible flex options in 10 and 12 team leagues. It's all there. It's all there. It's all free. As my good friend and colleague Matthew Berry likes to say, he's a company man. I'm a company man. Before I get into your questions, I wanted to just quickly go through a couple things that may help you with some lineup decisions, with, I don't know, DFS, with prop bets, whatever you're into for Week 8. So I wanted to just quickly mention teams that are being attacked via the slot this week. Or throughout the season, and how that will play for Week 8. So we have, let me make sure real quick, this is how you professionally podcast. Yes, my mic is set up correctly. All right, folks, we're ready to go. All right, so here are teams that are being attacked via the slot so far this year. We have the Saints giving up the highest target share to slot receivers. We saw Christian Kirk, obviously, last week have a huge game against New Orleans. Josh Downs, obviously, is the primary slot guy for the Colts. The Colts take on the Saints this week. Therefore, I do think that Josh Downs is in a very, very good spot here. We have the Bengals. The Bengals are giving up the 4th highest target share to slot receivers. Stick with me here. This is for deep league purposes and or DFS purposes. Juwan Jennings played primarily from the slot along with George Kittle last week, with Deebo Samuel out of the lineup for San Francisco. Those two, so Jennings and Kittle, would be the primary beneficiaries of that situation. And then you go a little further down the list. The Chiefs are giving up the 6th highest target share to slot receivers. Jerry Jeudy would be the beneficiary there. I kind of like Jeudy, especially if things kind of go sideways for the Broncos, which, hey, look, folks, they probably will. They probably will, and they'll probably be forced to throw a lot. Could be good for Jeudy. I'm not saying you have to force him into your lineup, but I'm offering you a little copium if you have to start Jerry G. Jeudy the 4th. Okay, here we go. Here we go with your questions. Send them in. Trade questions, start sits, financial advice, crypto advice, NFTs. I'm kidding. I don't know about any of that. So don't send me those. I will make it so that you go woke and broke, unfortunately. Okay, let's start. Zach Attack, Jordan Love or Gardner Minshew? That is a great question. I don't know. On to the next one. No. I cracked myself up. That is a tough one. I actually would lean Minshew here. I think that the Packers are at the point now with Jordan Love where they will try very hard to not lean on him. And I think that means that his floor is virtually non-existent. I know Minshew is a roller coaster, okay? Last week was insane. He counts for 4 touchdowns, I think 3 turnovers, 3 horrible turnovers. and the Colts run a lot of plays, so that's good. They have not been pass heavy. If you look at pass rate over expected, drop back rate over expected, but that shouldn't matter too much. I would lean Minshew here. All right, Agent Carter, I'll take it. DeMarcado or Downs? Well, in standard, Downs is down bad, I guess, but DeMarcado, I don't know. I don't know about it. I ain't reading all that. Just go with Josh Downs. All right. David says you're in a PPR league. The only legitimate scoring system, by the way. Okay. When I'm in charge, all other scoring systems will be banned. You'll have to play standard underground. Okay. You'll have to escape government persecution if you want to play standard under my watch. PPR will be the only one. I need a shut up, Denny. God, just answer some questions. I need a number 3 receiver and a flex out of Downs, Palmer, Sutton, and Henderson. Oh man, that's okay. I'm going Sutton and Henderson. I do like Henderson this week. Look, Darrell Henderson is a system knower. Okay, he knows that system, that Rams system, more than anybody has ever known any system ever. Okay, and that means something to Sean McVay. I mean, McVay generally wants to have a bell cow, as I sometimes call it, a cowbell. We need more of that, by the way. The Zoomers have no idea what I'm talking about. Tell them, geriatric millennials, tell them about the cowbell sketch from SNL from, what is it, the year 2000. In the year 2000. Does anyone know that? No? Are you familiar with the Conan O'Brien sketch from the 90s? Ooh, boy, I'm hitting all the millennial sweet spots today. I've completely alienated anybody born after 2000, after like 1995, honestly. Okay, I do need to answer some questions here. So please, just everyone, shut up. We'll answer some questions. All right. Sutton and Henderson. All right. I do think Henderson's going to emerge as the lead back there in LA. Better standard league flex versus the Colts. Oh, you got to go with Kamara. Kamara's seeing 1 trillion touches a week, so go with Kamara. Should I trade Keenan and Kupp for Kamara and Jamar? That's not bad. That's not bad. I would try. Yes, I would try. Yes. All right. Who will Arthur Smith give more touches to this week, and why is it going to be Algier? Right. Well, look, we still don't know why Bijan Robinson. I think that's how you pronounce his name, by the way. Bijan, not Bijan. I think we've massacred that name. We still don't know why Robinson wasn't involved last week. That has not been answered, and the league is looking strongly into it. And I commend the NFL for doing that, because folks, you can't do that. You can't just not play a player who was not on the injury report and then after the game go, he had a headache. Yeah, a headache. Right? Yes, that's what I heard. A headache. I do like how migraine havers were in my mentions all week, saying migraines are serious, as if I had implied otherwise. As if the conceit was Bijan Robinson should have played with a migraine. No one's saying that. We're asking, where was that on the injury report? You can put that on the injury report, Arthur Smith. I know you're watching. I mean, yeah, Algier is legit. So go ahead. I mean, he's not good, but whatever. Yes. Hello to you. Pick two. Half PPR. I thought you were asking me to pick 2.5 players, and I said I will not split anyone down the middle. I'm not going to do it. Okay, I'm going to pick 2. I'm not going to pick 2.5. Palmer and more. We talked about Calvin Ridley on the Rotoworld football show on Thursday, and basically because he's seeing a lot of perimeter targets, a lot of downfield targets, he has nothing to smooth over that sort of opportunity right now. And that means that he's gonna have weeks where he scores 2 points, and he's gonna have weeks where he scores 25 points. There's not going to be much in between. Sorry to say. Down spooky. I like it. Down spooky at running back. As always, me too, brother. Pick 2 running backs: Pierce, Javonte Williams, Henderson, and that's not down bad. Don't talk to me about that. Stop it. Stop. You're fine. This is fine. Good grief. Yeah, I'd go with Henderson and Pierce. There you go. It is Denny Sisson. Many are saying this. Good morning for the West. The West Coast is up. The West Coast. It's only 10:11 a.m. on the West Coast. What are you guys doing? Shouldn't you be sleeping till noon and then surfing? Whatever you guys do out there. Nobody works. Nobody has a job on the West Coast. That's a fact. Need a tight end. I picked up McBride, but who else should I give? McBride should be good. Look, Zach Ertz, couldn't think of his name. Ertz was saying like a 21% target share in this offense. I think you can give most of that to McBride. It doesn't really matter that McBride's not good. We don't care about that. But he should be out there running a ton of routes. I'm kind of excited about McBride as a PPR scam. We love a scam. Okay, on the fantasy football Q&A, Friday Q&A, we love a scam. I think McBride will become a pretty good scam. You're in the 7th circle of QB. Heck, thank you. I appreciate you not cursing. Okay, we have literally 1.2 million children watching this stream. So thanks. Let's keep it clean. Keep it clean, folks. This person's in heck since Justin Fields went down. Only options are Geno, Hal, Stafford. Okay, look, let's not put Tyson Bagent in the same category as these other guys. I mean, no offense. Tyson, longtime Rotoworld fan and obviously listening to this stream. I think just go Geno, man. Hal is not going to make it this week. Geno for sure. All right, Adam says, which 2 receivers, 1 this is so many players. 2 receivers, 1 running back, 4 flexes. I don't know, man. Good grief. All right. I'm exhausted already. All right, you all right, you're going with everyone just quiet down. Henderson, Bourne, Ridley, and Watson. All right, there you go. Would you play Jeff Wilson Jr. over Joe Mixon if Mostert is out? Well, look, Mostert is not going to miss this game. And so you're saying, like, what if he has a limited workload? I mean, Salvin Ahmed is probably the RB2 in Miami right now. You would basically be risking a 0 if you played Wilson. And also Joe Mixon. Look, I wrote up Joe Mixon in the regression files this week. You should check it out. Mixon is seeing all of the inside the 10 work in the Cincinnati backfield. All of it. Okay. Like no other running back has seen a touch inside the 10 besides Mixon. One day I have faith. Okay. Full faith, almost a religious faith that one day Joe Mixon will end up in the end zone one way or another. Okay. Whether he trips over his feet and falls face first into the end zone paint, whether he gets stuffed at the goal line and then a Bengals offensive lineman literally picks him up and throws him across the goal line. In some fashion, in some way, I believe deep down in my soul that Joe Mixon's going to score a touchdown. Okay? Eventually. I don't know about this week. Probably not. But, eventually he's going to do it. Watch. Also, he has back-to-back games with 5 targets. That's pretty good. When you can combine 5 targets with all the goal line work, that should be a really appealing fantasy running back profile. Should be. In theory. So far, it has not been the case for our guy, Joseph Q. Mixon the 9th. But, You got to play. Got to play Mixon. If you have him, you got to play him. Got to do it. It'd be crazy to start Downs. What? Yeah, don't do that. No, you're playing Addison, man. Yeah, yeah. No. Don't do any of that. Don't do it. All right. Pollard, Gibbs, Brees. Lots of players who on the bench. Oh, only one. You're benching Taylor. There you go. I feel confident with that one. Got to start one standard. Cooper or Ridley. I guess Cooper. All right. Daniel, how am I supposed to see Brees Hall compared to other running backs the rest of the season? How am I supposed to see Brees Hall? Okay. I'm struggling with how much I should value him. I do think so with a Zach Wilson who doesn't have the yips, which apparently that's what was going on. I mean, this is my surmising about Zach Wilson. He seemed to have the yips his first 2 years in the league. He seems to be over that, which is good for the entire Jets offense. Huge, very, very good, bigly good for Garrett Wilson. And obviously the team is not going to mess around with Dalvin Cook anymore. Brees Hall's fully back. I mean, honestly, you should value Brees Hall certainly as a top 10 running back, maybe even higher than that. Should I start Kareem Hunt over Joe Mixon? Swift and Pacheco and Flex. Well, look. Yeah, folks, listen. There's been a development in the Cleveland backfield. 5 days after Jerome Ford suffered what the team called a high ankle sprain, with a low grade high ankle sprain, a new way of gaslighting us on ankle sprains. Jerome Ford is back practicing. Apparently, he practiced Thursday. He practiced Friday. He has, quote, surprised the Browns with how well he's running, per Adam Schefter of ESPN. So I think he has a real shot of playing against the Seahawks. And, so it's Jover for Kareem Hunt. I would not play him over any of those guys. Hope that helps. If Lockett is out, Lockett has been practicing. Would you play JSN over guys like Higgins, Downs? No. No. Look, we get cute, but we don't get that cute. That's awfully cute, man. Don't do it. Should I pay off my high interest credit card debt? Yes, I did. I did actually invite financial questions. Yeah, you should, with a home equity loan, or just take the money. Right. Yes. So the best thing you can do is take the loan. Yeah. And go to the local casino, and put it on Josh Downs over for receptions this week. I'm kidding, guys. Please. You gotta gamble for fun, folks. Please don't do that. Any of that. All right. You're going with Gus Bus. You're with Gus Edwards for sure. Good matchup. Ravens seem to be committing somewhat to Gus Edwards, so go ahead with Gus. Deontay Johnson or Jeff Wilson Jr. if Mostert is out. Again, Mostert should be fine. Deontay Johnson might not play, apparently. He suffered a hamstring injury. Man, that kills me in so many leagues. Wow, that hurts. Woof. So watch that. Watch Deontay's status. Should I trade Keenan and Cup? Yeah, I think I answered that. Okay. Let's see. Guy offered Ayuk for Devontae Smith. Yeah. But got offered Ayuk. Yeah, so I'd rather have Ayuk. All right. Dobbs or JSN rest of season. Dobbs for sure. So I would still go with Ayuk. So Darnold, look, I'm not trying to insult anybody, okay? And I'm not going to say something insulting because I started my sentence by saying I'm not going to insult anyone. That's how you know. But I will say that there is no difference between Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy. There's just not. And in fact, several 49ers players have said this week that there's no drop off. There's no difference between these two guys. Okay, so you should value the Niners pass catchers and players the same as if Brock Purdy were playing. Okay. All of these guys are replaceable in this system, in this Shanahan system. Darnold will be fine. I would start Ayuk over Drake London. I kind of think the Falcons will go super massive run heavy against the Titans this week. Henderson over Waddle, Puka. Man, you're trying to get away. Zach Attack is trying to get away from this Waddle, Puka, Addison thing. It's a fair question. I would still go with the receivers. If you want to get crazy, you would play Henderson over Waddle. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild? Like if I were to tell you that in August, by like late October, you'll be agonizing over whether to play Henderson, Darrell Henderson, who wasn't even in the league. He was a spring football guy. He USFL, I think. Over Jalen Waddle, who you took in the second round. Man, fantasy football is frustrating sometimes, folks. We're gonna keep it clean. We're keeping it clean. Wide receiver 3 in PPR, Flowers, DJ Moore, or Rashee Rice. That's hard because DJ Moore is going to see 1.7 million targets this week against the Chargers. I go with Moore. Conan, fun fact: Max Weinberg's son is now the drummer of Slipknot. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, Max Weinberg 7. Oh man, guys, listen. You don't know. Actually, you do know if you're a millennial. If you're between the ages of 35 and 45, you know what I'm talking about. Staying up to watch Conan O'Brien on a school night in the 90s was the most subversive thing you could do, at least if you're a well-behaved child in the suburbs of Maryland. I mean, you know, that show, the Conan O'Brien show, started at like 12:30. What was I doing up at 12:30 on a school night? You know, but I was, and I loved Conan, man. You know what I loved about Conan is that he pretended like nobody was watching. Okay. You know, and he would literally say our audience is non-existent. Like nobody's watching us. I used to love that self-deprecation, man. Loved it. Such a great show. Pickens. I would go Pickens over Ridley. Would you trade Trevor Lawrence, Brian Robinson? Oh, so many guys. What is this? What? I don't know, man. This is too much. I'm sorry. I'm overwhelmed. Completely overwhelmed. Jaleel McLaughlin or Tajay Spears. So I actually have a suspicion that the Tennessee running backs are going to be used very heavily this week against Atlanta. Because there's really no other option. So I would go with Spears. I was benching. Benching Gabe Davis was a mistake. It was a mistake that I made in one league. Nevertheless, we persist. Question 2: Ezekiel Elliott or Aaron? You're going Aaron Jones. Question 3: Singletary, Moss, or Jeff Wilson? Singletary. So Singletary becomes interesting because we have very short memories. We have the memories of goldfish. Okay, so we will forget about everything that happened 2 weeks ago because a team was on its bye week, which the Houston Texans had a bye week last week. So now we forget everything. We forget that Devin Singletary became the de facto RB1 over Dameon Pierce. We forget that Dalton Schultz is running like more slot routes than any tight end in the NFL outside of Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. We forget everything, but please don't forget. I mean, Devin Singletary is usable this week as like a top 25, top 30 option. I posted the link to this stream on X, also Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky, folks. Posting everywhere, anywhere where humans are posting, I'm posting. Is it worth trying to package Bijan for Kamara? Oh no, yeah, dude, what? Kamara's a top 3 option. Bijan Robinson's like a top 15, maybe. No, that's not too cute. We don't get cute. That's not cute though. Man, if someone's willing to part with Alvin Kamara for Bijan Robinson, the RB2 on his own team, yeah, you do that. Do I like Kareem Hunt or Joe Mixon? No, no, nope. I don't. I mean, look, it seems like you want to play Hunt over Mixon, and that's fine. I'm just telling you, I would not. I would not. Jess says Deontay Johnson, or I feel like I'm seeing the same questions over and over. What's going on here? All right. Start Josh Palmer or Tank Dell. I wrote up Tank Dell and the whole Houston offense basically in the regression files. They've been running hot, real hot. And I know Robert Woods is out for this week against the Panthers, and the Panthers are down horrific defensively. So Tank Dell's not a bad play, but I would much prefer Josh Palmer. I mean, Palmer just has a more locked in role, I think, and Tank Dell has kind of gotten away with it. There's also the fact that Noah Brown, I know it sounds funny. I know, okay? Like Tank Dell is an ascendant, very exciting a slot receiver. So what am I talking about Noah Brown for? Well, the Texans love Noah Brown. They do. Okay? Like teams just love some random receivers. Like the Jaguars love Zay Jones more than anyone. It just happens, okay? So Noah Brown is going to probably eat into the playing time and opportunity for Tank Dell, making Josh Palmer a much more reliable start. I would go Henderson over Robinson. In a point per carry league. That's interesting. Yeah, look, Cris Rodriguez, the rookie for Washington, really cut into Robinson's workload. Robinson only had 8 carries, averaged like 2.5 yards per carry. Cris Rodriguez came in, averaged 4.6 yards per carry, saw 7 rushes. Okay, so only one less rush than Robinson. So I think Henderson is the play. Don't underestimate Henderson here. Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate the nice words on the Rotoworld Football Show. Appreciate that. Start 2, full PPR. Not Dotson, that's for sure. I'd actually go with Cooper and Bourne. They're force feeding Kendrick Bourne. They are force feeding him. He has an average depth of target of like 2 right now. I know it's like, well, why would I want that guy? But that just means that they've said, okay, well, hey, we're coming to grips with Kendrick Bourne being our best player. We're going to make sure he gets the ball, and that means jamming him the ball near the line of scrimmage. And we'll take that. We'll take a scam. This is PPR, folks. Okay, Adam Weber's league is PPR. We like Kendrick Bourne. It's very close between him and Rice. Jahan Dotson is not in that conversation, unfortunately. I'd go Stafford. I guess Stafford. Full PPR, Deontay Johnson or Palmer. I'd go Palmer. Excuse me. Wilson or Ridley. I actually would lean Wilson. Like I said, look, Ridley's profile is just hugely volatile. Okay, like really, really tough to kind of predict whether it's going to be a 3-point week or a 20-point week for Ridley. Wilson has double-digit targets in back-to-back games. He's being targeted on almost 30% of his routes. Okay, that's really strong. It's like in the upper echelon of receivers in recent weeks. So I think Garrett Wilson is the much, much safer PPR option. I guess I would say that Calvin Ridley has a ceiling because of the way he's used, right? Okay, and Garrett Wilson is not being used in that downfield way. So if you got like crushed on Thursday night, if your opponent had like Josh Allen and Godwin and Gabe Davis and Kincaid and everything, like if you got crushed, then Ridley would be your ceiling option there. Just so we're clear. All right, we have 12-team Superflex Fields Well, he's not playing. Trevor and Hal start Tyrod. But no, I'd go with Howell and Lawrence. Hey to you. Thank you. Appreciate you reading the regression files. Means a lot. Yeah, so you make a valid point. The offensive coordinator in Houston, Bobby Slowick, we call him PFF Bobby because, like us, he is an analytics nerd from way back. He had some good things to say about Tank Dell. Sometimes we do see rookies have their role grow after the bye week. Okay, and obviously Houston recently had its bye week, so I'm not totally discounting that possibility. It's just that Noah Brown is probably going to be an annoyance for Tank Dell. I'm still starting Tank Dell in a league where I can start multiple flexes. Obviously, I just took like 100 receivers to start that draft, and it's worked out pretty well. Picking running backs up off the waiver wire. So don't get like too bearish on Tank Dell. Just wanted to mention that. Yeah. Lost last week to an opponent playing Kamara and Rashad White. Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's a massive scam. That's a huge scam. Rashad White and Alvin Kamara don't do anything for real football purposes. They're so good for fantasy. So fun. We love it. We love it. Stash Eli Mitchell. Or well, if you can start Bourne, or if you need to start Kendrick Bourne, then you go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I guess Mitchell is an okay bench stash for now, but Jordan Mason would probably split the backfield if CMC misses any time. All right, in the event that Palmer can't play this, yes, right. Palmer has been on the injury report. Who do I pivot to in half PPR? Tank Dell, Osborne, or Demario Douglas? Demario Douglas is a bit of an aspirational play because we're basically hoping that last week's usage sticks. You know, he saw a season high route rate, kind of played wide receiver 2-ish role behind Kendrick Bourne. I tend not to put him in the category with like Tank Dell, even Osborne, who's out there a lot. Okay, Osborne led all Vikings receivers in pass routes last week against the Niners. So I would pivot. I would pivot to. I know I just talked about Tank Dell as a regression guy, but I would pivot to Dell. Eagles or Saints defense. Yeah, I mean, wow, that's a great problem to have. I mean, the Saints are in a great spot against Gardner Minshew, who's going to turn it over, at least a couple times. I'm saying that like it's an inevitability, but come on. And then the Eagles should have what we call a sack-based floor. We love this. We love a sack-based floor, and they play Washington and Sam Howell, who just takes sack after sack after sack. So I guess I would lean Eagles, but the Saints probably have like an insane ceiling here. So up to you, folks. Up to you. Full PPR. Pick 2 between Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, and Bajan. Breece for sure. And I guess Taylor. Yeah, Breece and Taylor. All right. Zach Attack is back. Grade the trait. Devontae and Latavius for Rasheed and Tajay. Admittedly, a Henry trade. A lot of Denny. Yeah, that's a lot of information. I would go with whoever got Devontae. That's the winner. There you go. Outlook on Achane for the rest of the season when he returns. Traded Tyreek Waller for Chase. Achane and I don't know about that one, dude. You traded Tyreek. Tyreek's the best player in fantasy. He's the best receiver in the NFL. Well, what's done is done. I think Achane steps into a 12 touch per week role, which for a guy like him, we're talking about like a Jamal Charles type of guy. So 12 touches, he can go a long way with that, folks. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking. All right, I'm going to answer one more, and then we're going to reset here a little bit. All right, Lewis asks, start Burrow or Cousins? I would go with Burrow. The Packers. I'm going to talk about this in a second. Well, this is a good transition then for pass and run funnel defenses. Okay, I'm going to talk about that for a moment here. I would go Burrow, just so you know. All right, I'm Denny Carter. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at CDCarter13. I'm also on Blue Sky, posting all the time, more and more. Primarily, I'm posting on Blue Sky. We're getting the folks over there. You can find my work on Rotoworld. Thank you for joining me for this Friday Q&A. I want to talk just briefly, like I said, about pass funnel and run funnel defenses, folks. Basically, this means teams that are being attacked consistently via the run or via the pass. So on the run side, the run funnels, the Browns are the most extreme run funnel by far, by a country mile, some would say. So for this week, I think that would set up, whoever is the starting running back for the Seahawks. Ken Walker has not practiced this week, I believe. If he can't get in a limited practice on Friday, it's over. Like it's probably Zach Charbonnet season. Teams have really turned toward the run, so Charbonnet becomes, he would be against any team, honestly, but he becomes a must start in that scenario. Some other run funnels. The Packers are the second most extreme run funnel. I know that the Vikings don't run, but I think, I'm thinking that they found at least a little bit of a spark last week with Cam Akers actually doing some things on the ground for them. And I could see the Vikings really trying to establish it against the Packers. And the Packers run defense has also not been very good. Okay. So there is that as well. Yards after contact per carry, the Packers are the 9th worst. Okay, so they're giving up the 9th most yards after contact per carry. That could be very good for the Vikings running backs here. Some other run funnels. We have the Colts as a massive run funnel. Could be good for Kamara, obviously. The Rams as a run funnel. Tony Pollard is seeing lots of volume anyway, so that's just kind of goes without saying. Hey, look, the Commanders. The Commanders are the 6th most extreme run funnel this season. I think that could mean great things for DeAndre Swift in this game. I know that for some reason, the Eagles are like obsessed with Kenneth Gainwell as their inside the 10 running back. It's kind of maddening, but it is what it is. We cannot change it. We can only accept it, folks. But I think Swift could really take advantage of that matchup. All right, on to pass funnel. Teams that are really being attacked via the pass. The Lions are by far the most extreme pass funnel. Who do the Lions play this week? They play the Raiders. Yeah, they play the Raiders. So hey, you know what? That actually works out because look, the Raiders passing offense is very concentrated between Jacoby Myers, the wide receiver 1, and Devontae Adams, the wide receiver 2. Okay, so did you catch that? Are you triggered? Are you mad? Because I'm mad. I'm actually really upset about it. Anyway, it could mean great things, honestly, for Myers and Adams. Teams just really turn toward the pass against Detroit, and there's a reason for that. Detroit gives up the 6th fewest yards before contact per attempt. They are stuffing the run at the line of scrimmage. They have one of the league's highest stuff rates, accordingly. So we know what the Raiders are probably going to be forced to do here. I'll talk about 2 more pass funnels, and then we'll move on to your questions, folks. I'm hoping this helps. Could help. You never know. Jaguars are the second most extreme pass funnel. I think that George Pickens and Deontay Johnson are very interesting for that reason. You're starting them anyway, but I'm just talking about for maybe DFS purposes. And then the Eagles are the third most extreme pass funnel. I think this could be a Sam Howell 50 drop back type of game if the Eagles don't bleed the clock and dominate time of possession like they have been doing. The tush push, as cool as it is, I like it. Maybe you don't like it. Honestly, it depends on if your team can run it, and if your team has a quarterback who can't bench press a tank like Jalen Hurts, and they probably can't run it, and you're mad, you're upset about it. Anyway, look, if a game script's not insane here, I think it could be a Sam Howell day, dropping back 100 times, that sort of thing. And then real quick, the Niners, fourth most extreme pass funnel. I could see Joe Burrow having tons of pass volume in this contest. All right, on to your questions. We're going to grow this lecture hall to yes, we are. We're going to do that. Can I trust Roshan Johnson, or should I stick with Algier? So is Roshan out of the is Roshan out of the concussion protocol? I don't know. It's hard to say. It looks like Jeff Wilson. Looks like by the way, this is breaking. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel said the team plans to give Jeff Wilson, quote, some touches in Week 8 against the Patriots. So all of you all seem really, really into Jeff Wilson. So take that for what it's worth. All right. Oh wait, I didn't answer your question. Sorry. I would go with Algier. I'd go with Algier. Start Ayuk, Kirk, or Rice. Kirk. Go with Christian Kirk. There you go. You got the whole Seattle backfield wrapped up, brother. You're in it to win it. Suddenly very hungry. I could use some hummus right now. It could be hummus time, folks. Right after this show, we're gonna look into that. Thoughts on Ayuk? Come on, man. I feel like you've said me this 15 times today. You're playing Ayuk. Everybody's playing Ayuk. Come on. Trade McLaurin and Flowers for. Yeah, definitely. If you end up with the best player in the trade, you've won. Okay. Forget it. Forget about it. That's my Sopranos impression. It needs some work, admittedly. There you go. So yeah, go with CeeDee Lamb. Get CeeDee Lamb, I should say. Got to pivot from Purdy. So are we playing Bryce Young, Darnold, or Mac Jones? That's wow. I go with Mac Jones. Yeah, yuck. Trade Lamar and Thielen for Tyreek and Metcalf. Yeah, that's crazy. That'd be wild if you could pull that off. So, but yeah, I would definitely try it. All right. Lewis is back. He wants to start Josh Jacobs or replace. Oh no, yeah, dude, you got it. You got to play Breece Hall over Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has been miserable this year, as you know. Yeah, we have to adjust our thinking on Breece Hall. Obviously, I mean, Breece Hall should be in lineups every week, no matter what. Yeah, and then you put Christian Kirk in the flex. Yeah, to get Josh Jacobs out of there, man. It's a rough matchup anyway. My best ball teams are hurting over. I thought getting Josh Jacobs in the third round of best ball when his whole contract thing was happening. I thought that was the greatest thing. I thought I was the smartest man alive, and it turns out I was not the smartest man alive. I could have been the dumbest man alive. And now Josh Jacobs is washed. So unfortunately, I take no pleasure in reporting that Reed versus Minnesota, Downs versus Cleveland. Josh Downs plays not Cleveland. He plays the Saints. Jaden Reed is interesting. Let's see. Let me find the numbers here. The Packers give up. Oh, come on. Oh no, not the Packers. The Vikings. The Vikings give up the fifth highest target share to opposing slot receivers. Jaden Reed would benefit from that possibly. So yeah, I mean, don't discount Reed for other purposes, but I would go with Downs this week. Trying to get Addison in my lineup. Should I play him over Barkley or Pollard? Mm, yes, I would play him over Saquon. Tony Pollard is leading the world in touches inside the 10, inside the 5. Like, you gotta believe eventually the touchdown regression bubble will burst for Tony Pollard. That's what we are hoping for more and more. So can't bench Tony Pollard. I think you can bench Saquon. Horrific fantasy environment in that Jets-Giants game. That profiles to me as like a 16-10 game. Like, just horrifying fantasy environment. Jacobs or Palmer in the flex. I would go with Palmer. All right, what did I miss here? Lamar or Hurts rest of season? That's a good question. You know, there's something ain't right with Jalen Hurts. Am I right, folks? I mean, he's wearing a knee brace. I don't know, man. I actually would lean Lamar. You know, the Ravens offense has definitely operated differently in a very good way for fantasy over the past 2 weeks. They've been faster. They've been more aggressive. They've used Lamar as a rusher more on design runs. So Todd Monken seems to have finally met Lamar Jackson. Hopefully, maybe they met on the plane ride home from London or plane ride to London. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm Lamar. Hey, I'm Todd. Hey, good to meet you. Let's talk about what we can do with this offense to make it not so miserable. And they seem to have done that. So I actually would lean Lamar. Lindorphins is back. Love the good grief comments gearing up for Charlie Brown's fit. Good grief. That's right. The grief is good in these parts. Full PPR Roshan. Oh, yeah. Guys, listen. Darrell Henderson is a way better option than Roshan Johnson going forward. Okay. And Kyron Williams is going to be out for a while. So Henderson will be fun for fantasy, I promise. That was a bad promise, but I can't take it back now. Okay. It's sealed. It's forever on the internet. All right. Jess says Sutton or Deontay Johnson. I mean, it depends. Like if Deontay is not healthy, then I would be very hesitant to play him. I would probably just I got to just tell you Sutton. I got to do it. All right, folks. Listen, we have about 10 minutes left. So send in your questions, send in your queries, your concerns. I want to know what's on your mind today, folks. Let's get real quick to some nerdy rushing stats. Yards before contact per attempt. So this correlates closely to big plays on the ground, to long runs. The Giants are giving up a huge amount of yards before contact per attempt, 2.16. No one else is above 1.8 on the season. So I mean, it's a Breece Hall. The kids are calling this is what the Zoomers are calling it, a Breece Hall smash spot. Okay, the spot will be smashed by Breece Hall. So I see a lot of questions. Oh, do I play Breece Hall or so and so? Breece Hall. It's Breece Hall. The answer to your question is always going to be Breece Hall. And I know someone's going to be like, well, do I play Breece Hall or do I play Christian McCaffrey? And come on, in my league. But yeah, the Giants are an abomination of a run defense. Breece Hall will probably go berserk here. The Broncos are giving up the third most yards before contact per attempt. I mean, Pacheco, Isaiah Pacheco is going to be frustrating sometimes because Kansas City is so stubbornly pass heavy, which we like from a fantasy standpoint generally. And Pacheco is involved enough in the passing game where he can get by. Like we saw last week, he caught a touchdown from Mahomes. So it's not like he is touchdown dependent on the ground. Sorry, I have an itch. I'm trying not to touch my face. Okay. Trying desperately not to. But so anyway, Broncos are real bad in that area. And then I just, wanted to mention a couple more teams. The Dolphins have given up the fourth most yards before contact per attempt. I think Ramondre Stevenson and to a much lesser extent Ezekiel Elliott, they're in good spots against the Dolphins. If the Patriots can keep this one somewhat close, which I think they can. I know that sounds weird, but I have a sneaking suspicion on this one. Stevenson and Elliott will be set up nicely against Miami. And then wanted to mention that the Panthers. The Panthers are just a bad defense, but they've given up the sixth highest yards before contact per attempt. They've given up the what is it? They've given up the 10th highest. Let me just make sure here. No? Oh, no. Sorry. They've given up the second highest yards after contact per attempt. So I do think Devin Singletary and Dameon Pierce are interesting for that reason. It's a good matchup. Game script should be on the Texans side. And here's the thing about the Texans, folks, is that they have gone pretty run heavy of late. They have the Texans have been under their expected pass rate in 3 straight games. Okay. In fact, over those 3 games, they've been 5% under their expected pass rate. That's pretty significant, especially when you consider they started the year pass heavy, 8% over their expected pass rate in week 1, and then 7% over their expected pass rate in week 3. So there's been a shift there for sure. And so I think the Singletary and or Dameon Pierce could see some volume this week. All right, let's do this. We have 5 more minutes, folks. Connor Joseph says Nico Collins, Jacoby Myers, or Christian Kirk. Start two. Yeah, no, it's Myers and Kirk for me. I mean, Collins is fine, but because the Lions are such a massive pass funnel, because the Raiders are down horrific and probably will have to chase points throughout this game. I was going to say for 3 quarters, but come on, let's be real. Vegas will be chasing points throughout this for 4 quarters, for 5 quarters. Okay. So Myers should see a nice target day. And then Christian Kirk goes against a Steelers defense that has not been targeted heavily via the slot, but has given up a lot of points. Slot receivers have been very efficient against Pittsburgh. We saw Puka Nacua. Most of his success last week came in slot routes against these Steelers. So Christian Kirk needs to be in your lineups for sure this week against the Steelers. Martin says potential running back targets. I'm trying to trade. Oh, you're trying to trade DeAndre Hopkins, dude. I don't even know. I guess I'd pick up Hopkins off the waiver wire. I guess, but that's about it. Although I will say there has been some scuttlebutt. Okay, the kids love this term, scuttlebutt. We love our scuttlebutt, don't we, folks? That's okay. Shut up, Denny. DeAndre Hopkins could be traded by the October 31st trade deadline. It's the spookiest trade deadline in history, folks. It's on Halloween. We're all very scared. Hopefully, DeAndre Hopkins will end up in a less scary fantasy environment than the Titans offense, which is just horrific. It's like predictably. I'm sorry. I can't help you with this right now. I'm on a roll. Got to get to other ones. Would you drop Demario Douglas and pick up Singletary? Yeah, I mean, you're probably not starting Douglas, so yeah, I would get Singletary. Coaches love Singletary, man. He's going to work his way into the RB1 role. I'm pretty sure. Full PPR need 2 between Saquon, Mixon, Foreman, 15 other running backs. Boy, oh boy. I would go with Saquon and Mixon. I mean, I would say Foreman, but Roshan Johnson will probably be back. If Roshan doesn't come back, then I would go Foreman and Mixon. Hope that helps. I was asked about trading Addison from someone who has Puka, Bijan, and Hawkinson. Any of these worth it or keep him? Well, I'd rather have Puka than Addison. I'd rather have it depends. Yeah. I'd rather have Puka than Addison. I was gonna say I'd rather have Hawkinson than Addison, but maybe not. Maybe I'm getting over my skis a little bit. Need a wide receiver in a flex PPR league. Wide receiver and a flex. Go with Flowers and Addison. Damian Pierce is I don't know, man. Here, I'm gonna go back to week 6 here. Texans. Let's see. So we have Pierce had 13 carries for 34 yards in week 6 against New Orleans. Devin Singletary actually had more snaps than Pierce and saw 12 carries for 58 yards. So he was, more explosive. Let's see. Devin Singletary had 2 rushes of more than 10 yards in that game. Pierce had 0, which is pretty typical for Pierce. I mean, he doesn't do much anyway. And I believe Singletary also took over the route running role. We are looking into that as we speak, folks. Okay. We're all right. Let's see. We have Singletary ran more routes than Pierce. So don't sleep on Devin Singletary. All right, one more minute. I'll try to get to a few more questions. Should I drop Brian Robinson? I like how you put Cris. I like how you put Junior as if there's another Brian Robinson in the league. Brian Robinson Jr. Love it. For Zach Charbonnet or Spears. Well, look, the answer is yes. If you don't have to start Brian Robinson, I'd rather have Spears or Charbonnet. Okay, because at least if and when the starters in the Seattle and Tennessee backfields, when they miss time, Charbonnet and Spears become way, way, way better for fantasy than Brian Robinson ever will be in Washington. Okay, especially with this new thing, apparently with Chris Rodriguez eating into the early down role. And without that, Robinson doesn't have much. So that's my very long-winded answer on that. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining me on this Friday Fantasy Football Q&A. You can find all my work on NBC Sports. Check out all of our Week 8 content. And check out the Rotoworld Football Show for Thursday. Me, Kyle Dvorchak, Pat Doherty. We talked about every game. And we gave you the correct advice on every single player involved in Week 8 games. You just got to check it out. You can check out the video on the NFL and NBC YouTube page, or you can check out the podcast, the audio version podcast, wherever podcasts are available. Again, you can find me at CDCarter13 on X. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. Good luck to you as this